to Election Day.
I just look forward to these debates. I think it's very important that we have them. I hope she agrees to them.
Former President Donald Trump marking his first public appearance since Vice President Harris selected Tim Walz as her running mate. Trump painting a dark portrait of America while vowing to fix it and pushing to debate Harris, accepting to a primetime face-off as the VP and running mate Walz meet with auto workers to push to get their message out. The frenetic political day that played out. Plus, the bomb-making materials and weapons found in the home of one of the people suspected of planning that terror attack on an upcoming Taylor Swift concert. Why authorities say both individuals were inspired by ISIS and whether this could change the security around future concerts. And
but once, after I heard the owner, that he said, feel at home. It's your home. You can do whatever you want. So I start doing my garden, which is my therapy.
1 year after devastating wildfires on Maui that left more than 100 dead and thousands of buildings destroyed, tonight we go inside the healing and hope on the island as the community of Lahaina rebuilds 365 days since that tragic event. Good evening. I'm Phil Lipoff in tonight for Linsey Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We are following those stories and much more, including Debbie coming ashore again, moving north, spreading heavy rain from North Carolina right into Virginia and taking aim at the Northeast. Plus, the dramatic body camera videos from the Trump assassination attempt, officers scrambling after spotting the shooter. And the American Olympian who outdid himself, not taking the gold, but still wowing the world with his spectacular showing, all while battling COVID. But we are going to begin with the major developments in the race for the White House. Vice President Kamala Harris and Donald Trump have now both confirmed their primetime debate right here on ABC News Live, set for September 10th. As officially all systems go. Trump going before cameras at Mar-a-Lago today, making his first public appearance since the introduction of the new Harris-Walz ticket. Trump not only agreeing to the ABC News debate, but challenging Vice President Harris to meet for 2 other debates next month. Trump then went on the attack, criticizing the vice president's intelligence, lodging complaints about coverage of the large crowds at her rallies. He also claimed abortion, a key focus of her campaign, will only be a, quote, small issue come November. And when he was pressed, will there be a peaceful transfer of power if he loses? On the campaign trail today, Vice President Harris and Governor Walz met with UAW members in Michigan. Harris responding to criticism about Walz's National Guard service, saying she praises anyone who has served. We are standing by for much more on the former president's news conference and where both campaigns go from here. Our Selena Wang leads us off tonight from the White House.
Tonight, it's official. Former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris will face off in a primetime debate on ABC next month. The debate, one of 3 that Trump agreed to during a Mar-a-Lago press conference, his first public appearance since the debut of the new Democratic ticket.
I just look forward to these debates. I think it's very important that we have them. I think they'll be very revealing.
Trump challenging Harris to accept the other 2 proposed debates, insisting that he has not changed his campaign strategy to go after Harris and her vice presidential pick, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz.
We have somebody that hasn't received 1 vote for president, and she's running. And that's fine with me.
Harris had previously committed to the ABC News debate after replacing President Joe Biden as the nominee.
I'm glad that he's finally agreed to a debate on September 10th. I'm looking forward to it and hope he shows up.
Throughout the more than 1 hour-long press conference, Trump repeating false and misleading statements, including that no one died on January 6th. According to the Department of Justice, 5 people died during or after the attack, including 4 protesters and 1 police officer. Trump also bristling at the idea that the Democratic ticket is gaining more support than his own, as Harris and Walz barnstormed the battlegrounds.
They talk about, the enthusiasm. Let me tell you, we have the enthusiasm. The Republican Party, and me as a candidate, but the Republican Party has the enthusiasm. Because people want to see crime stopped.
Trump even suggesting that he attracts crowds larger than Martin Luther King Jr. did for his I Have a Dream speech.
I've spoken to the biggest crowds. Nobody's spoken to crowds bigger than me. If you look at Martin Luther King, when he did his speech, his great speech, and you look at ours, same real estate, same everything, same number of people, if not, we had more.
And asked about President Biden's warning that there would absolutely not be a peaceful transfer of power if Trump loses in November, Trump falsely claimed that there was in 2020 and there would be again, as long as the election is honest.
Of course there'll be a peaceful transfer, and there was last time, and there'll be a peaceful transfer. I just hope we're going to have honest elections.
Selena joins us now from the White House. Selena, what more are you learning about the Harris campaign and its plans for these debates?
Well, the vice president is saying tonight that she is open to considering more debates, but only after the one on ABC News on September 10th. The vice president is also saying tonight that she wants to schedule a sit-down interview before the end of the month. Phil?
All right, Selena, thank you. We want to let you know the ABC News primetime debate between Vice President Kamala Harris and Donald Trump will be moderated by Linsey Davis and World News Tonight anchor David Muir. Again, it will take place on September 10th, streaming right here on ABC News Live. There were a lot of moments from today's press conference that went unchecked. It wasn't that kind of forum, so we'd like to unpack some of them now with ABC's Jay O'Brien. Jay, always good to see you. Trump spent, as you saw, quite a bit of time focused today on Biden dropping out of the race, alleging Harris's pick was in some way unconstitutional. You say what about that?
It is not unconstitutional, Phil. Joe Biden dropped out on his own volition. He's completely within his rights as a candidate to do that. What Trump said is that Biden being pushed out was unconstitutional. Again, that's inaccurate. He also said that they, quote unquote, cherish the Constitution in that Harris being picked as the Democratic nominee without a primary process is in some way unconstitutional. That also isn't true. The Constitution doesn't cover the partisan primary process that it takes to select a candidate.
In a familiar way, he also said that a lot of things wouldn't happen if he was in office. One claim that he made is that an economic depression would happen if he wasn't elected again. A depression, not a recession, a depression. Harris and Biden are currently in office, so how does that claim square with the economic reality that we're all living in?
And it also is interesting because he talked about that stock market dip earlier this week, and he used that in the context of that quote-unquote depression comment that he made. And it's worth pointing out, as Trump was making those comments, the Dow was up just about 700 points. It vacillated from being up between over 700 points and just under 700 points. There is, while there was a rough jobs report earlier, the job market is relatively stable, unemployment is relatively low, inflation is cooling. All of that Trump did not mention. Instead, he talked about that depression comment is something that he alleged that a friend of his or friends of his on Wall Street said would happen if Trump was elected. So point being, he provided no evidence for that, and the evidence to the contrary says that the economy is strong.
And it's not an opinion, and it's not the media disagreeing with the former president on this. Those are facts that you just laid out. I would also like you just to quickly check this. The allegation that people's guns are being taken first, and then this that we've heard, that Democratic officials are allowing abortions up until and even after birth. We've heard this story about Virginia and the former Virginia governor, and he repeated it today. Talk to me about that.
Two quick fact checks there. Yeah. The first, obviously, on the guns thing, that's something that the NRA, which has endorsed former President Trump, has claimed. There is no evidence of people's guns being taken. In fact, on a story for this program, I went to the NRA convention in Dallas. I asked gun owners at that convention, did they feel that their gun rights were in any way infringed upon by the Biden administration? A number of them told me, no, they do not feel that it is, despite the fact that they don't believe that this administration is pro-gun in any way. They say they don't feel infringed upon by this administration. That's the first thing. The second thing, very quickly, on that abortion thing, Trump has long claimed that abortion is allowed in Democratic states up until the moment of birth. That is just not true. That is not legal in any state in the country.
All right, Jay O'Brien, there was a lot to fact check today. We appreciate you going through it with us. I want to continue the conversation now with co-founder of the Lincoln Project, Rick Wilson. Rick, good to see you. Thank you for being here. You just heard Jay O'Brien fact check some of the press conference, but it was an hour long. I'm wondering what was the most surprising part of it to you, as we have heard some of this for years?
Well, look, I think the most surprising part for me was Donald Trump's energy was pretty low today. This was not the guy selling at the level he did in 2016 or 2020. But as for the lies, you know, it comes with the Trump territory. I thought the one that claiming he had larger crowds than Martin Luther King was particularly egregious. But, you know, he's feeding two audiences here. One, he's trying to reset his campaign with the national media. And two, he's trying to feed his base and the MAGA machine something to tell them that he's still in control of this campaign, because they've really had a terrible almost 3 weeks now since Joe Biden left the race. It has turned into a much different chemical compound than it was before. It's turned into a much different sort of arrangement than it was before. Trump feels like she's got big crowds, big energy, big support. He sees the polls, and his campaign team sees the polls slipping in key states. You saw today when the Cook Political Report moved Arizona, Nevada, and Georgia on from lean Republican to toss-up. So Trump is seeing all these things. He was desperately looking for a way to reset today. But even as a critic of Trump, I can be objective in his performance and tell you it came across as slightly unhinged, utterly mendacious, and frankly not effective. It wasn't this sort of big charismatic Trump presence that I think his audience really needed to see today.
I'm curious what you think about this, the attack on Walz's military service. Moderate former Michigan Republican Congressman Peter Meyer, who voted to impeach Trump, also seems to say there may be something to it. He's saying it wasn't stolen valor, as J.D. Vance has said, but that Walz may have played fast and loose with his military bio. What do you think about this line of attack?
Everything I've seen so far from the Minnesota National Guard and from other folks who understand how to read a DD-214, a military service record, have an NG-214, the National Guard version of it, have basically said this is all being contrived out of nothing. This is a guy who was honest about his service. He gave 25 years of honorable service in the National Guard. I think it is. I think it demeans and diminishes the service of every guardsman and every man and woman who served in the Guard for this kind of attack to be done this way. A lot of these folks know better. A lot of these folks know very clearly that they're lying about this. I trust the folks from Veterans for Responsible Leadership, Afghanistan and Iraq veterans, from Vote Vets. They've all looked at this and said that these attacks are spurious and ludicrous. But it doesn't surprise me coming from the Trump campaign. This is their MO. This is their approach to these things. They don't really care about the truth. They're looking for anything to get an angle in on this rising, soaring campaign. They're trying to blunt the fact that Walz has taken off as a cultural phenomenon in the last 2 days. They're really scared of this guy, and I can see why they would lie, but should be recognized for what it is, which is a lie.
And just continuing with that point, finally, it's only been 3 weeks. I mean, it seems like 3 months in political years with what has happened over the last 3 weeks. But I'm wondering what you think about the state of this campaign. You talked about some states that went, from leaning right from right to leaning right in the middle. What are you thinking has happened? Because we saw a little bit of a different Donald Trump today than we did at the RNC, say.
Look, at the RNC, Donald Trump had about a 6-week run of the best political luck I've ever seen in almost 40 years in politics. Nothing could go right for Joe Biden. Nothing could go wrong for Donald Trump. He came out onto that stage in a position where he believed he had this election in the bag, that he could basically take 3 days a week and go and golf and spend the rest of the time lounging around Mar-a-Lago. That's not the case anymore. He understands now that Vice President Harris has activated something in our society, in our culture, that sense of hope and joy and optimism that her campaign seems to be defined by now is something that's drawing enormous crowds. It's moving the numbers in the states. It's changing the chemistry of this campaign rapidly. It's still a tight race, but in the average state, it's gone from Trump being up 5 to 7 points to a tie ball game in a matter of 3 weeks. This is not great for Trump. If she continues with this momentum, I mean, we had an Emerson poll today, Marquette poll today that had her 8 points up. This is a race that if she consistently starts maintaining a 4, 5, 6 point lead in the national polling and holds even a 2 or 3 point lead in the swing state polling, this is a race that's going to get very ugly for Donald Trump and the Republicans very quickly.
Lincoln Project co-founder Rick Wilson. Rick, thanks for taking the time tonight. Appreciate it.
Anytime. Happy to be with you.
Now to the newly released police body camera video from the attempted assassination of Donald Trump at his rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. The video showing the moments just before the gunman opened fire, the chilling moments as police rushed to confront the gunman on the roof and the questions that followed. Here's ABC's senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky.
This is the moment police in Butler, Pennsylvania first confront the gunman who opened fire on former President Trump. An officer's hoisted to the roof, sees the shooter, and falls back to the ground. The body camera audio starts moments later.
This close, bro. Dude, he turned around on me. Where's he at? Where's he at? He's straight up.
Heavily armed police race toward the building.
Next.
Some scaling this plastic shed to reach the roof. The officer who confronted the shooter describing what he saw.
He's got a book bag. He's got mag AR laying down. He's laying down, prone out, book bag next to him. But watch out, because he can come right down on you over there.
Those officers scrambling to locate the shooter.
This building, he was on top of this building, the left one.
Finding him after several tense minutes. By then, the gunman, 20-year-old Thomas Crooks, is dead.
One in custody, HR building south, rooftop.
Another officer's body camera capturing a wounded victim carried from the rally site. When the chaos subsides, some police openly question how the shooter had access to a rooftop 400 feet from the former president.
I told him to post guys over here.
I wasn't even concerned about it because I thought someone was on the roof. I thought that's how how can you lose a guy walking back here?
They were
on the roof.
They were inside.
Why were we not in the building?
Why were we not on the roof?
Phil, those officers asking the very same questions we've all been asking since July 13th. And Phil, we've also had a look tonight at some newly released documents that show Thomas Crooks visited a shooting range more than 40 times in the months prior to the shooting, including a final visit just the day before the rally. Phil.
Chilling footage. All right, Aaron Katersky, thank you. We move on now to Tropical Depression Debbie making its second landfall in South Carolina, spawning a deadly tornado and flood watches from South Carolina all the way to New York. The system is expected to arrive in the Northeast by tomorrow. Lee Goldberg from our partner station WABC in New York is tracking what's next, but we begin with ABC's Victor Oquendo, who is in North Carolina for us tonight.
Tonight, as Debbie marches up the East Coast, the death toll is rising and the roads are treacherous. Overnight on Highway 74, west of Wilmington, North Carolina,
Take a deep breath.
I'm okay.
storm chasers and other drivers, including a Marine veteran, springing into action, racing to rescue a woman after her car hydroplaned and flipped over, carefully guiding her out of harm's way.
It's a great relief. Yeah. I didn't expect to see somebody moving.
Debbie blowing ashore just north of Charleston, its second landfall. Tropical torrential rain inundating neighborhoods. East of Raleigh, in Lucama, North Carolina, this middle school taking a direct hit from a confirmed tornado. First responders searching the classrooms inside. Not far from there, this home collapsing. Search and rescue teams working to lift and stabilize it, finally finding the homeowner inside, who sadly did not survive. Norman Toller lives nearby and saw the tornado touch down.
Look out the back door, and I dropped down to my knees and went to pray. I said, Lord, you know, I've worked all my life for what I got here. Please don't take it. And it went right in the backyard.
And Victor joins us now. Victor, how much longer until these folks can actually start picking up the pieces of what's left?
Phil, just a devastating scene here in Lucama. We did see some residents starting to clean up a bit, but this threat, it is far from over. There's a tornado watch for the area until 8 p.m. and the possibility of flooding, even as Debbie makes her way straight to the northeast. Phil?
All right, Victor Oquendo tonight. Victor, thank you. All right, so now let's get some more information on that system expected to hit the Northeast tomorrow from Lee Goldberg from our partner station WABC right here in New York. Lee, what does it look like?
Phil, another rough 36 hours. I mean, everybody has Debbie fatigue, but now it's going to hit the mid-Atlantic and into the northeast. It's now a depression, but will still have major impact. We have flood watches from the Carolinas all the way to New England. Tornado watches are up across parts of North Carolina. Active tornado warnings even in North Carolina, north of Morehead City. And now the tornado watch was extended into the Baltimore, D.C. area. And that threat will slide up the I-95 corridor during the day tomorrow. So let's time this out. The heaviest rain, North Carolina and Western Virginia tonight, even into Richmond too. Overnight and tomorrow morning into the Baltimore, D.C. area. And central Pennsylvania gets crushed, also into central southern tier of New York. That makes its way northward and northeastward toward the I-87 corridor during the afternoon. And then on the southern side of that, you have the heavy thunderstorms and severe weather threat into New York City. So flash flooding because we've got so much rain in the tri-state area over the past couple of days, and even a brief tornado. That spin up could last into the late evening hours. Thankfully, this will wind down quickly by Saturday morning. The weekend weather improves, but before then, significant flash flooding from places like Harrisburg all the way to Burlington, Vermont. Again, the weather will get better, but in the meantime, like Ginger says, have 2 ways to get warnings. Phil?
Yeah. All right. Lee Goldberg from our partner station, WABC here in New York. Lee, thank you. Now to the alarming new reporting surrounding the alleged terror plot targeting Taylor Swift's concert tour in Vienna. 3 suspects are now under arrest. Authorities say a 19-year-old has confessed that they plan to use knives and explosives to kill as many people as possible. Swift canceled 3 shows, but the rest of the tour is expected to go on as planned. ABC's Maggie Rulli has the latest.
Tonight, just 24 hours after Taylor Swift's sold-out concerts in Vienna were canceled. Officials releasing this chilling photo of the 19-year-old Austrian suspect they say hoped to kill as many people as possible outside the stadium. The teen, who is seen with machetes in hand wearing an ISIS flag, has allegedly confessed to planning a suicide attack, according to authorities, who say the terror cell wanted to create a bloodbath, copying ISIS attacks like those at concerts in Moscow, Paris, and Manchester.
Protecting soft targets, these high-profile events, this has become a major security concern. You're never going to have 100% security.
Police say they found knives, timers, and explosives inside the suspect's home. And a suspected accomplice, a 17-year-old Austrian, was arrested at the stadium where he had just taken a job. A 15-year-old Turkish citizen was also questioned. On the streets of Vienna today, Swifties putting on their own concert.
When the news got out that it was canceled, there were a lot of tears, but I'm happy that with other people are feeling the same and we're having a lot of fun together.
And that's exactly what those shows are supposed to be about. Maggie joins us now from London. Maggie, Taylor is set to perform where you are soon, right?
Yeah, exactly, Phil. Just 1 week from tonight, Taylor Swift is set to wrap up the international leg of her Eras Tour right here in London. An expected 500,000 fans are supposed to show up over 5 nights. And just today, Phil, the mayor of London said that the plan is to carry on and have those concerts go ahead as scheduled. Phil.
All right, Maggie Rulli tonight from London. Maggie, thank you. And now to the Summer Games, and a stunning headline emerging from Paris. American Noah Lyles, favored to win gold, collapsed after finishing 3rd in the 200-meter race. Medical staff rushing to his side. Moments later, Lyles revealing he has COVID but decided to run anyway. ABC foreign correspondent James Longman from Paris.
A shocking upset for Noah Lyles tonight, the newly minted Olympic champion taking bronze in the 200-meter final. It's his best event, and he was tipped for gold. But the Team USA star was running with COVID after testing positive on Tuesday.
This is where he gets to show his speed!
Botswana took gold, USA teammate Kenny Bednarek in silver, but moments after Lyles crossed the finish line, he was seen gasping for air on the ground. Medics rushed to his side before wheeling him out of the arena. Lyles was fresh off that stunning 100-meter victory. He won by 0.005 of a second. Days earlier, he told ABC News he hoped to break the world record in the 200 meters.
It's always the goal, being faster and faster. I have a desire that whatever I touch, I don't always want to be the best, but I want to change it by the time I leave.
Team USA has now raked in over 100 medals. Gold today for Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, who broke her own world record in the 400-meter hurdles final. She's now the first woman to win back-to-back golds in the event.
Lyles is one of at least 40 athletes at these Olympics to have come down with COVID or another respiratory illness. In a statement, USA Track and Field say that he underwent a thorough medical evaluation but still chose to compete. They say they are monitoring his condition closely. Phil?
James Longman, thank you. There is still much more to get to here on Prime. U.S. athletes discovering the power of mom strength at these Olympic Games. But next, we're returning to Maui 1 year after devastating wildfires ravaged the island. ABC's Becky Worley talks with residents about rebuilding and their concerns for the future.
Whenever news breaks,
we are here in Israel, a nation at war after that brutal surprise attack by Hamas.
On the ground in Ukraine, reporting from Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine. Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this little town.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
In Iceland, let's go.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines. From southern Israel.
Outside the Gaza Strip.
In Beirut.
From the FBI.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live, streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
We're still in a flash flood warning. To catch you up with what happened overnight. Police in riot gear arresting dozens of protesters.
What's happening today? Escalating tensions in the Middle East.
What people are talking about. The migrant crisis.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
Check out the Gator on the 17th hole.
The buzzkill in baseball.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
We are part of an operation.
Is this our combat operations center?
We're approaching the gate. Militants came in from different directions. Nuclear reactor. So you have a couple loaded and ready to go. The house is destroyed, but the flag.
Not a tear in it.
How important it made the USA. Great work.
Hi. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Ismail?
David.
I'm David Muir.
I know who you are.
You
Watch
do?
you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast.
If you were coming of age in the 1980s, the Brat Pack was near the center of your cultural awareness. But for those of us experiencing it from the inside, the Brat Pack was something very different.
The critics agree.
Hated the Brat Pack. What a disaster.
Why did we take it as an offense?
I'm not going to say we were the Beatles or anything. Well, we didn't fill Shea Stadium. 1985? I think we could have.
I'd heard my grandmother scream.
The murders of a husband and wife found dead inside their home.
Brandon is the last person to see his parents.
There were wild revelations.
Brandon's secret life.
They were saying he was a murderer, and there was just no possible way.
Brandon was up there. He could have gotten this gun. Who's wrong? Somebody's wrong.
Now, the powerful prison interview.
Why should we believe you?
2020, Friday night at 9/8 Central on ABC.
Welcome back. 1 year ago, wildfires ravaged the island of Maui, killing more than 100 people, destroying homes, and particularly devastating the town of Lahaina. But with resilience, over time, a rebuild is now happening. Debris being cleared, families finding their way to stay together, and neighbors are welcoming back that feeling of community, all through their shared responsibility to restore Maui to what it once was. ABC News committed to bringing you stories from the island, and tonight, we are reconnecting with people we met along the way. Our Becky Worley brings us this special edition of Maui Strong 808, Rising from the Ashes.
It's sunrise in Lahaina. The light reflecting off the sea, spreading over survivors in a moment of remembrance. 1 year ago, devastating wildfires tore through this island community, claiming 102 lives.
Everybody almost, everybody on that list of names that came out.
And incinerating 1,399 homes.
This is what it looks like when your people are put last.
Nobody likes fires. Some kids don't even have a home. We need to go to a different place.
So many trying to find a new place to live.
Me and my family have moved 7 times.
7 times?
In the past 3.5 months.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and just making sure we keep everything in our suitcases. You know, don't be unpacking stuff because you don't know where we're going next.
For the last year, ABC News has been committed to covering the recovery on Maui, my home island, watching as the community looks to the future despite the devastation.
Sometimes Kuleana chooses you rather than you choose Kuleana. Kuleana to me is wanting to do the right thing for the right person, for the right time, for the right reasons.
It's their shared kuleana, or responsibility, to bring this town, this island, back to life, all doing their part to start over.
This time of reconciliation is important. It was where we go in the future.
Oh, your garden is so beautiful. This tree is gorgeous.
And look at this one.
Mixed feelings of sadness and hope have dominated those on Maui, including Nellen Cisar.
Look at this.
She was forced to flee her family home in Lahaina with just the things she could carry, evacuating to a road above the town, eventually coming to this shelter.
There's no privacy. You sleep side by side there. And, you know, it's so hard.
Then her family moved into temporary housing at the Royal Lahaina Hotel.
Yeah, mostly here. We have no more clothes.
For 8 months, calling this small hotel room home. All that time, we watched her hold a brave smile for them. But in the moments alone,
there are times when I remember everything, it makes me cry. I just hide from my husband and my children. When I woke up in the morning in the shelter, I'm crying. Because, like, what are we gonna do?
8 months later, a rental house opening up for the family in Kihei, 25 miles from Lahaina.
Makes my day every day. Make me smile by looking at these flowers.
Nellen trying to resume a normal life, going back to work. But from her new location, she drives through the burned-out homes and towns she loved every day.
I have to go back and forth every day, 5 days a week. So every time I saw Lahaina, I felt so sad.
You have to drive through it.
Yes. So I decided to quit.
That was just too hard.
Too hard.
Did you think it would be easier by now at this year marker?
You know, I don't think so. It's not yet easy for me. It's more challenge.
I got one more I need.
The rental house in Kihei has given Nellen an outlet for her grief. She's literally putting down roots.
Thank you, Lord. But once, you know, after I heard the owner, that he said, you know, feel at home. It's your home. You can do whatever you want. So I start doing my garden, which is my therapy.
And Nellen is planning to rebuild. She has architectural drawings of what her new home will look like.
4-bedroom in the front with their own bathroom there.
And she and her husband take us to see the lot in Lahaina where their house used to be.
Okay, Dad, here we go again. Every time I come visit our place, it breaks my heart. It's so sad. But, you know, we're getting closer there that we can rebuild soon.
Yes, soon. The County of Maui says of the nearly 1,400 homes destroyed, at least 1,375 lots have been cleared by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
It's clean. Wow, it's so nice and clean, Crispito.
Residences have been prioritized to get people back in homes as soon as possible.
Look at those, the mango trees survive. Our living room here, dining room here.
But breaking ground on a new build entails months of back and forth with insurance companies, hiring an architect and builder, and getting a permit from the county. So in that gap of time, thousands of people are still in temporary housing. This is Ohana Hope Village, a transitional housing facility in central Maui set up by the nonprofit Family Life Center.
It's a village of 88 units built specifically for those who were displaced and impacted by the Lahaina wildfires.
The village is off the grid, avoiding the hurdles of hooking up to an electric grid and an overtaxed county sewer system. The facility is slowly opening to residents.
For one of the families, we gave them 2 of these.
And CEO Maud Cummings says it could house up to 325 people in these pods of single and family units.
This is our little kitchen.
Ah, so this is the kitchenette for the pod.
Yes. Nice sized refrigerator and a hot plate, microwave, and a full bathroom. It's air conditioned, has a full tub.
6 units in a pod centering on a shared laundry space, full kitchen, and a dining area.
People have told me, they're used to coming home, saying hi to the neighbors, sharing their meals, sharing extra things that they have, groceries, whatever, and they really miss that. And so this design is intentional to bring people together and help them heal.
I learned that on average on the mainland, 5 years after a fire of this magnitude, we can expect about 25% rebuild. And so that was just like a real, punch in the stomach.
But to create transitional housing faster, the Ohana Hope Village Group found prefab housing units. And when placed on the site, they just pop up.
Literally seconds or a few minutes to get these in place. And then you have a secure place with lights, with windows, a door that locks, insulation. And so it's pretty amazing.
With solar and a battery, the site is up and running with new residents. Hi, I'm Becky.
I'm Becky.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you, too.
83-year-old Patty Peterson was living in the Lahaina home that her grandmother and mother before had lived in.
Out of all of my cousins, we lost 9 homes.
She's moved 5 times since the fire.
I just got a bunch of stuff in, so I'm just kind of unpacking.
And she says this is a nice opportunity for both independence and community.
The fact that just it's people I know and their neighbors.
Yeah, and you've all been through the same thing.
Yeah.
You understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, it is what it is. And God has a plan, and I trust His plan.
And the plan for Lahaina's immediate future? Construction. Something Gene Milne has been able to do ahead of others, a foreshadowing of the next phase of recovery.
This is our Ohana.
His house was under construction and almost done when the fire ripped through the neighborhood, destroying his new build.
Just the thought of literally having to start over after 3 years of effort was devastating.
He is the first person to start construction in Lahaina.
I was very lucky in the sense that because my property was still under permit, it was still being built, I had open permits for the main house, the swimming pool, which is just the big hole in the back, and the retaining walls and such. Those were still open.
An owner-builder, Gene was able to get working as soon as his lot was cleared. How long before you think you're going to be moving back in here?
By December, hopefully, I'm hoping by Christmas that I can have us back in it.
Gene's construction is not characteristic of the typical Lahaina experience, but a preview of what these neighborhoods will look like in the coming months. Construction crews, foundations being poured, framing going up. And that progress? Something Nellen is holding on to as she envisions the house where 3 generations of her family will all live together. What would your dream home look like?
My dream home, I'm just simple. I just like to have a 3-bedroom.
And the simple hope that her town, her Lahaina, will come back to life. With everyone contributing, doing their kuleana.
I love Lahaina. It's unique, especially with the aloha spirit. The people that walk here and there, you always meet with all your smile, with the aloha everywhere. So that's how I can think of Lahaina.
Becky, thank you. And still to come, how is the county working to ensure another tragedy like this never happens again? Find out in Maui Strong 808, Rising from the Ashes, airing tonight at 8:30 and streaming tomorrow on Hulu. There is still much more to get to tonight. Coming up, we are visiting a small southern community where Pride Month lasts all year. But next, the large number of Americans picking up a side hustle, why they're doing it, how much they're making, by the numbers.
What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
An operation to capture ISIS fighters.
Is this our Combat Operations Center?
We're approaching the gate now. Militants came in from 4 or 5 different directions. Operational nuclear reactor. So you have a couple loaded and ready to go. The house is destroyed, but the flag, there's not a tear in it.
Not a tear in it.
How important is this label right here, Made in the USA? Look at your smile. You're proud of this.
I love this.
Great work.
Hi.
Where are you? Where are you?
Appreciate you.
Thank you, David. Good to meet you. Ismail? David.
David.
Yes, yes. I'm David Muir.
I know who you are. I watch you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast. Whenever news breaks,
We are here in Israel, a nation at war.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this town.
From Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike.
ABC News Live everywhere.
In Iceland, let's go.
On the 2024 campaign trail.
Here at 10 Downing Street.
Wherever the story is.
We're going to take you there.
You're streaming.
ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live, streaming free everywhere.
Betrayal is one of the hardest types of trauma to overcome.
This is her knight in shining armor.
Everything felt right. All of a sudden, I found this hidden folder. I opened it. I don't think I can say it. I'm sorry. It's shocking. My stomach just dropped. He just really didn't think I had it in me to do something. So I did.
Betrayal, a father's secret. The all-new season on Hulu.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
We're still in a flash flood warning.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. Police in riot gear arresting dozens of protesters.
What's happening today? Escalating tensions in the Middle East.
What people are talking about. The migrant crisis.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
Check out the Gator on the 17th hole.
The buzzkill in baseball.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your podcasts, Start Here.
It's lunchtime in America, so what are we serving up?
Well, how about everything you need to know?
Give it to me. Your health, your money, breaking news, pop culture, with the biggest stars, music, trends, and of course, good food.
It's all coming up on GMA3.
You're going to love it. We'll see you then.
GMA3, what you need to know. A third hour of GMA in the afternoon.
So join us, afternoons.
For everything you need to know.
I love that.
Me too.
Reporting from the Normandy coast for the 80th anniversary of D-Day, I'm David Muir. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back. Even as inflation cools, a large number of Americans are still picking up side hustles to supplement their income. Tonight, we're looking at who's picking up the extra jobs and why by the numbers. 36% of U.S. adults are supplementing their primary income with a side hustle, according to Bankrate, a survey that they did. Younger people are more likely to pick up extra jobs. 48% of Gen Zers ages 18 to 27 have a side hustle. Parents of young children also seem to be looking for the extra income, with 45% of those folks with a kid under the age of 18 working a side gig. 28% of side hustlers report making more than $500 a month, and many are earning much more, pushing the average side hustle income up to $891. 36% of side hustlers say they need the extra income for regular living expenses. Similar numbers say the money funds discretionary spending or helps build their savings. Only 20% say they use the money to pay down debt. And 32% of side hustlers say they will always need a side gig to make ends meet, while 16% say they plan to develop it into their main source of income at some point. We have much more ahead here on Prime tonight. Up next, they are calling it the gayest town in America, and you may be surprised where it is. We're going to take you there.
Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed.
Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas, Edinburgh, Scotland.
From Poland once again tonight. Thank you so much for streaming with us. Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw.
Do you think you'll ever be able to go back home? We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City.
Splintered houses and splintered lives. The magnitude of the devastation. You're streaming ABC News Live. Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi.
Santa Fe, New Mexico. Raleigh, North Carolina.
The U.S. Capitol.
Mayfield, Kentucky. Minneapolis.
Mexico.
Tongass National Forest, Alaska.
Getting you behind the stories as they happen, giving you a front row seat to our world as it plays out in real time, live.
ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights, America's most honored streaming news program, only on ABC News Live. Streaming free right now wherever you stream your news.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
We're still in a flash flood warning.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. Police in riot gear arresting dozens of protesters.
What's happening today? Escalating tensions in the Middle East.
What people are talking about. The migrant crisis.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
Check out the Gator on the 17th hole.
The buzzkill in baseball.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
Whenever news breaks.
We are here in Israel, a nation at war.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this town.
From Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike.
ABC News Live everywhere.
In Iceland, let's go.
On the 2024 campaign trail.
Here at 10 Downing Street.
Wherever the story is.
We're going to take you there.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live, streaming free everywhere.
I heard my grandmother scream.
The murders of a husband and wife found dead inside their home.
Brandon is the last person to see his parents.
There were wild revelations.
Brandon's secret life.
They were saying he was a murderer, and there was just no possible way.
Brandon was up there. He could have gotten this gun. Who's wrong? Somebody's wrong.
Now, the powerful prison interview.
Why should we believe you?
2020, Friday night at 9/8 Central on ABC. ABC News Live, honored with 8 Emmy nominations, more than any other streaming news network. And ABC News Live Prime with Linsey Davis, the first and only streaming show nominated for Best Outstanding Live News Program. This is ABC News Live. Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories. Start Here.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Make it your daily first listen, wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back. We are shining a spotlight on a small southern community that welcomes and celebrates LGBTQ plus people all year long. ABC's Christiane Cordero with the story.
I love being here. I grew up in a small town and I feel at home here.
On a road that winds through the rolling hills of the Ozarks, far from the big city, you'll find a 7 stories tall statue of Jesus that stands arms permanently outstretched over a town dotted with pride flags year-round. Welcome to Eureka Springs, Arkansas, home to Zeke Taylor and Dick Titus.
What was it about Eureka Springs in particular that drew you here?
As an artist, I wanted to be with other artists. And of course, there are a lot of gay people in the arts.
Revered by the Osage tribe for its healing waters, Eureka Springs was considered sacred long before finding its place in the Bible Belt. Today, a commission protects just about every building within city limits, many considered historical landmarks. Keep it the same, Eureka Springs says, and by that they mean keep it very different.
It's known as the town where misfits fit, which I sort of like. I like that.
So how does a city of only 2,000 people make history if it's so set on preserving it? How does it break new ground? Just ask Jennifer and Kristen Seaton-Rambo.
It's so cliche, but it literally was love at first sight.
The lifelong Arkansans who live in nearby Fort Smith were 4 years into dating when Kristen got down on one knee in March 2014. 2 months later, a judge struck down a voter-initiated constitutional ban on same-sex marriage, and by doing so, legalized it.
When her cousin called, and he had said he'd gotten a phone call about the Carroll County courthouse opening up early in the morning, and you should probably get there.
Because my cousin said it could be a minute, it could be 30 minutes, it could be 10 minutes.
Before what?
Before they put a stay on it. And so they couldn't issue any more licenses.
So what did you do?
We got in the car and we drove to Eureka Springs. It was about 2:30 in the morning.
Jennifer and Kristen, our friends, were the first in line.
Doors opened at 9 a.m., but not for them.
When the clerk showed up, she refused to issue license to same-sex couples.
And why will you not issue our marriage license?
Because I have no authorization from anybody.
We have the ruling with us.
Did you feel like she was refusing you because of who you are or because of confusion over what was legal?
In my mind, I really thought she was denying us our rights because of who we were.
What's going on is this courthouse has not been given authority to give out same-sex marriages yet.
And our attorney was talking through the window and like, hey, telling the police officer, look, here's the court rulings, here's the paperwork.
The clerk who refused to issue the licenses later said her boss, the county clerk, was out of town, so she requested input from the attorney general. After not hearing back, she decided to close the courthouse. Hours later, and with dozens of couples in line, another clerk stepped up.
We're going to get our license.
It was like an angel walked through the doors, and she did what she felt she needed to do, and she married us.
Here's your pretty license.
Jennifer and Kristen became the first same-sex couple in Arkansas to officially say, I do. Widely considered the first in the South, Zeke and Dick were the first male couple.
It is my honor and delight to now pronounce you legally married. Congratulations.
What was it like to hold that piece of paper in your hand?
Emotional. I cried. Tears of joy that we were finally no longer second-class citizens.
A 2023 study from the Williams Institute found of the almost 14 million American adults who identify as LGBT, more live in the South than in any other region. That same year, the Human Rights Campaign declared a state of emergency on LGBTQ+ Americans, citing an unprecedented number of legislative bills targeting the community. Arkansas was the first to pass a ban on gender-affirming care for minors in 2021. A federal judge blocked it, then struck it down. It never went into effect.
You can tell that there is a certain kind of mentality where you coexist. How is that able to work in a place like this?
I mean, it's a small town, so we know each other. And if I know you and I respect you and you have an opinion, I'm more apt to think it through and to discuss that with you.
Eureka Springs has proven how getting to know a stranger can change everything. It's part of what makes this place home for both couples, despite its challenges and because of them.
Our conviction is important, and there are so many. I cannot stress enough how many people are out there that we want to have the same kind of feelings that we're able to get. And it's not always. We've had troubles and we've had times where we've been refused or what we feel discriminated against.
The progression that I've seen, yes, it's been slow, but it's something that's encouraging to see, and it's encouraging to be a part of and to keep that growth growing to where we can get to that point to where equality is for everyone.
Our thanks to Christiane. We're going to turn now to the moms going for gold in Paris this year. For many of these athletes, it's their first time competing in these games, a special experience in and of itself, made even sweeter by their newest and biggest fans cheering them on. ABC's Maggie Rulli with the story.
WNBA star Nafisa Collier defending gold with her 2-year-old daughter Mila by her side.
Say hi, Maggie.
Hi, Maggie. Steeplechase racer Marissa Howard qualifying for her first ever Olympics only after she gave birth to her now 2-year-old son Kai.
I'm about to go watch Mama run.
You're on the bus to go watch Mama run?
Oh, wow. And fencer Nada Hafez competing in the games while 7 months pregnant. Mom strength is winning gold at these Olympics.
I believe in the mom strength, you know. I believe that we figure things out. We are always doing complicated, complex things. We are, you know, having to navigate so many challenges and changes. And I think when you do come back to the thing you did before, you're like, okay, that wasn't that bad.
Allison Felix may have retired from the sport, but now the most decorated track and field Olympian of all time, frustrated by her own experiences as an athlete and mom, is working with Pampers to create the first ever family space in the Olympic Village.
What else can help make sure that female athletes stay in the game?
My desire is just for them to be able to have the choice. If they choose parenthood, they'll be supported throughout.
Moms like Nafisa.
A lot of women, myself included, can be scared to have a baby in the middle of their careers because they're not sure what that life is going to look like.
My life looks a lot different than it used to, obviously. It just changes your entire perspective on life in the game. I'm playing more freely, it feels like, more aggressively, just because I'm not living and dying by what's happening on the court.
Marissa tapping into that same mom strength on the track.
Wow, that race was not painful compared to what I went through in having him.
I think it just naturally builds up this callus within you that makes you a stronger person. Don't underestimate us.
Don't ever underestimate them. Maggie, thanks so much. And that's our show for this hour. I'm Phil Lipoff. Stay with ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks for streaming with us. And coming up in the next hour, a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist spent 4 years inside an evangelical church in Philadelphia. What she found as the church struggled to redefine itself. And we're tracking Debbie, the destruction left in her path, and where her heavy rains are headed next.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your podcasts, Start Here.
It's lunchtime in America, so what are we serving up?
Well, how about everything you need to know?
Your health, your money, breaking news, pop culture, with the biggest stars, music, trends, and of course, good food.
It's all coming up on GMA3.
You're going to love it. We'll see you then.
GMA3, what you need to know. A third hour of GMA in the afternoon.
So join us, afternoons.
For everything you need to know.
I love that.
Me too.
Whenever news breaks.
We are here in Israel, a nation at war.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this town.
From Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike.
ABC News Live everywhere.
In Iceland, let's go.
On the 2024 campaign trail.
Here at 10 Downing Street.
Wherever the story is.
We're going to take you there.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live, streaming free everywhere. What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
An operation to capture ISIS fighters.
Is this our Combat Operations Center?
We're approaching the gate now. Militants came in from 4 or 5 different directions.
Operational nuclear reactor.
So you have a couple loaded and ready to go. The house is destroyed, but the flag, there's not a tear in it.
Not a tear in it.
How important is this label right here, Made in the USA? Look at your smile. You're proud of this.
I love this.
Great work.
Hi.
Where are you? Where are you?
Appreciate you.
Thank you, David. Good to meet you.
Ismail? David.
David.
Yes, yes. I'm David Muir.
I know who you are.
You
Watch
do?
you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast.
Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed. Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas, Edinburgh, Scotland.
Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi.
Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw. We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City, getting you behind the stories as they happen. ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights wherever you stream your news. Only on ABC News Live.
Reporting from Monterey Park, California, I'm Robin Roberts. Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Good evening. I'm Phil Lipoff. This is ABC News Live Prime. I'm in for Linsey Davis tonight. Thank you so much for streaming with us. We've got a lot of news to get to tonight, including former President Donald Trump's first public appearance since Vice President Harris selected Tim Walz as her running mate, pushing Harris to debate. Plus, the bomb-making materials and weapons found in the home of one of the suspects who police say were planning that terror attack on an upcoming Taylor Swift concert. And the manhunt in Spain after a wanted Catalan separatist leader mysteriously disappears and then appears. But we are going to begin with those major developments in the race for the White House. Vice President Kamala Harris and Donald Trump have now both confirmed their primetime debate here on ABC News Live, set for September 10th. It's officially all systems go. Trump going before cameras at Mar-a-Lago today, making his first public appearance since the introduction of the new Harris-Walz ticket. Trump not only agreeing to the ABC News debate, but challenging Vice President Harris to meet for 2 others next month. Trump then went on to criticizing the vice president's intelligence and lodging complaints about coverage of the large crowds at her rallies. And he was also pressed, will there be a peaceful transfer of power if he loses? On the campaign trail today, Vice President Harris and Governor Walz met with UAW members in Michigan. Selena Wang leads us off tonight from the White House.
Tonight, it's official. Former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris will face off in a primetime debate on ABC next month. The debate, one of 3 that Trump agreed to during a Mar-a-Lago press conference, his first public appearance since the debut of the new Democratic ticket.
I just look forward to these debates. I think it's very important that we have them. I think they'll be very revealing.
Trump challenging Harris to accept the other 2 proposed debates, insisting that he has not changed his campaign strategy to go after Harris and her vice presidential pick, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz.
We have somebody that hasn't received 1 vote for president, and she's running, and that's fine with me.
Harris had previously committed to the ABC News debate after replacing President Joe Biden as the nominee.
I'm glad that he's finally agreed to a debate on September 10th. I'm looking forward to it and hope he shows up.
Throughout the more than 1-hour-long press conference, Trump repeating false and misleading statements, including that no one died on January 6th. According to the Department of Justice, 5 people died during or after the attack, including 4 protesters and 1 police officer. Trump also bristling at the idea that the Democratic ticket is gaining more support than his own, as Harris and Walz barnstormed the battlegrounds.
They talk about, the enthusiasm. Let me tell you, we have the enthusiasm. The Republican Party, and me as a candidate, but the Republican Party has the enthusiasm. Because people want to see crime stopped.
Trump even suggesting that he attracts crowds larger than Martin Luther King Jr. did for his I Have a Dream speech.
I've spoken to the biggest crowds. Nobody's spoken to crowds bigger than me. If you look at Martin Luther King, when he did his speech, his great speech, and you look at ours, same real estate, same everything, same number of people, if not, we had more.
And asked about President Biden's warning that there would absolutely not be a peaceful transfer of power if Trump loses in November, Trump falsely claimed that there was in 2020 and there would be again, as long as the election is honest.
Of course there'll be a peaceful transfer, and there was last time, and there'll be a peaceful transfer. I just hope we're going to have honest elections.
Our thanks to Selena Wang from the White House. The ABC News primetime debate, by the way, between Vice President Kamala Harris and Donald Trump will be moderated by our own Linsey Davis and World News Tonight anchor David Muir. Again, it will take place on September 10th, streaming right here on ABC News Live. Now to the newly released police body camera video that documents the chilling moments just before the attempted assassination of Donald Trump at the rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. The video shows police confronting the gunman on the roof just before he opened fire on the former president. Here's ABC senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky.
This is the moment police in Butler, Pennsylvania first confront the gunman who opened fire on former President Trump. An officer is hoisted to the roof, sees the shooter, and falls back to the ground. The body camera audio starts moments later.
This close, bro. Dude, he turned around on me. Where's he at? He's straight up.
Heavily armed police race toward the building.
Next.
Some scaling this plastic shed to reach the roof. The officer who confronted the shooter describing what he saw.
He's got a book bag. He's got mad AR laying down. He's laying down, prone out, book bag next to him. But watch out, because he can come right down on you over there.
Those officers scrambling to locate the shooter.
This building, he was on top of this building, the left one.
Finding him after several tense minutes. By then, the gunman, 20-year-old Thomas Crooks, is dead.
One in custody, HR building south, rooftop.
Another officer's body camera capturing a wounded victim carried from the rally site. When the chaos subsides, some police openly question how the shooter had access to a rooftop 400 feet from the former president.
I told him to post guys over here.
I wasn't even concerned about it because I thought someone was on the roof. I thought that's how how can you lose a guy walking back here?
They were on the roof. They were inside.
Why were we not in the building?
Why were we not on the roof?
Our thanks to Aaron Katersky for that report. We move on now to the tropical depression Debbie making its second landfall in South Carolina, spawning a deadly tornado and flood watches from South Carolina all the way to New York. The system is expected to arrive in the Northeast by tomorrow. Lee Goldberg from our partner station WABC is tracking what's next, but we begin with ABC's Victor Akendo, who is in North Carolina for us tonight.
Tonight, as Debbie marches up the East Coast, the death toll is rising and the roads are treacherous. Overnight on Highway 74, west of Wilmington, North Carolina, take a deep breath.
I'm okay.
Storm chasers and other drivers, including a Marine veteran, springing into action, racing to rescue a woman after her car hydroplaned and flipped over, carefully guiding her out of harm's way.
It's a great relief.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to see somebody moving.
Debbie blowing ashore just north of Charleston, its second landfall. Tropical torrential rain inundating neighborhoods. East of Raleigh, in Lucama, North Carolina, this middle school taking a direct hit from a confirmed tornado. First responders searching the classrooms inside. Not far from there, this home collapsing. Search and rescue teams working to lift and stabilize it, finally finding the homeowner inside, who sadly did not survive. Norman Toller lives nearby and saw the tornado touch down.
Look out the back door, and I dropped down to my knees and went to pray. I said, Lord, you know, I've worked all my life for what I got here. Please don't take it. And it went right in the backyard.
Victor Akendo, thank you. All right, so now let's get some more information on that system expected to hit the Northeast tomorrow from Lee Goldberg from our partner station WABC right here in New York. Lee, what does it look like?
Phil, another rough 36 hours. I mean, everybody has Debbie fatigue, but now it's going to hit the mid-Atlantic and into the Northeast. It's now a depression, but will still have major impact. We have flood watches from the Carolinas all the way to New England. Tornado watches are up across parts of North Carolina. Active tornado warnings even in North Carolina, north of Morehead City. And now the tornado watch was extended into the Baltimore, D.C. area. And that threat will slide up the I-95 corridor during the day tomorrow. So let's time this out. The heaviest rain, North Carolina and Western Virginia tonight, even into Richmond, too. Overnight and tomorrow morning into the Baltimore, D.C. area. And central Pennsylvania gets crushed. Also into central southern tier of New York. That makes its way northward and northeastward toward the I-87 corridor during the afternoon. And then on the southern side of that, you have the heavy thunderstorms and severe weather threat into New York City. So flash flooding because we've got so much rain in the tri-state area over the past couple of days, and even a brief tornado. That spin up could last into the late evening hours. Thankfully, this will wind down quickly by Saturday morning. The weekend weather improves, but before then, significant flash flooding from places like Harrisburg all the way to Burlington, Vermont. Again, the weather will get better, but in the meantime, like Ginger says, have 2 ways to get warnings. Phil?
Yeah. All right. Lee Goldberg from our partner station, WABC here in New York. Lee, thank you. And now to the alarming new reporting surrounding the alleged terror plot targeting Taylor Swift's concert tour in Vienna. 3 suspects are now under arrest. Authorities say a 19-year-old has confessed that they plan to use knives and explosives to kill as many people as possible. ABC's Maggie Rulli with the latest.
Tonight, just 24 hours after Taylor Swift's sold-out concerts in Vienna were canceled. Officials releasing this chilling photo of the 19-year-old Austrian suspect they say hoped to kill as many people as possible outside the stadium. The teen, who is seen with machetes in hand wearing an ISIS flag, has allegedly confessed to planning a suicide attack, according to authorities, who say the terror cell wanted to create a bloodbath, copying ISIS attacks like those at concerts in Moscow, Paris, and Manchester.
Protecting soft targets, these high-profile events, this has become a major security concern. You're never going to have 100% security.
Police say they found knives, timers, and explosives inside the suspect's home. And a suspected accomplice, a 17-year-old Austrian, was arrested at the stadium where he had just taken a job. A 15-year-old Turkish citizen was also questioned. On the streets of Vienna today, Swifties putting on their own concert.
When the news got out that it was canceled, there were a lot of tears, but I'm happy that with other people are feeling the same and we're having a lot of fun together.
Our thanks to Maggie Rulli. Back here at home to the tragedy at the CrossFit Games in Texas. An athlete has drowned while swimming across a lake in Fort Worth. ABC's Maria Villarreal with the details.
Tonight, tragedy at the annual CrossFit Games in Fort Worth, Texas. A swimmer in distress appearing to drown near the finish line of the first event.
We got called out this morning, originally about 8 o'clock for an assist PD call. It ended up being a participant in the water that was down.
First responders using divers and drones to search Marine Creek Lake, locating the body of 28-year-old Lazar Jukic of Serbia, seen in a video posted by CrossFit before the competition.
Well, he started to doing small turns and he was trying to get his head out of the water. And it was at that time that we started screaming to the lifeguard like he needs help. And then within seconds he was under and he never came back up.
Tonight, the CEO says a safety plan and staff were in place at the time and that CrossFit is cooperating with authorities in their investigation.
A lot of people are mourning and you know, we want to do everything we can to support the community, to support the family.
Tragedy, Maria, thank you. There's still much more to get to tonight. Coming up, why millions of people are watching this woman's videos spotlighting the most unlikely of subjects. But next, the manhunt in Spain after a wanted Catalan separatist leader mysteriously appears and then disappears again.
Whenever news breaks,
We are here in Israel, a nation at war after that brutal surprise attack by Hamas.
On the ground in Ukraine, reporting from Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this little town.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
In Iceland, let's go.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines from southern Israel.
Outside the Gaza Strip.
In Beirut.
From the FBI.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there.
You're streaming
ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live, streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
I'd heard my grandmother scream.
The murders of a husband and wife found dead inside their home.
Brandon is the last person to see his parents.
There were wild revelations.
Brandon's secret life.
They were saying he was a murderer and there was just no possible way.
Brandon was up there. He could have gotten this gun. Who's wrong? Somebody's wrong.
Now, the powerful prison interview.
Why should we believe you?
2020, Friday night at 9/8 Central on ABC. What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
We are part of an operation.
Is this our combat operations center?
We're approaching the gate. Militants came in from different directions. Nuclear reactor. So you have a couple loaded and ready to go. The house is destroyed, but the flag...
Not a carrying it.
How important is made in the USA? Great work.
Hi, appreciate you.
Thank you.
Ismail? David.
David.
I'm David Muir.
I know who you are.
You
Watch
do?
you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast.
I'm Rachel Scott on the campaign trail in Pennsylvania. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back. We are tracking several headlines around the world at this hour. Ukraine has launched a major attack inside Russia in what appears to be the biggest and most serious incursion into the country since Russia's full-scale invasion began in February of 2022. The Ukrainian incursion prompted Russian President Vladimir Putin to hold urgent meetings with his government and defense leadership, while local authorities said thousands of Russian civilians were being evacuated away from the fighting. Former Catalan separatist leader Carles Puigdemont defied an arrest warrant to appear at a rally in Barcelona on Thursday after 7 years of self-imposed exile before fleeing the scene with the help of a local police officer. The regional police said 2 of its officers had been arrested as the force investigated the separatist leader's whereabouts. In a Sao Paulo suburb where Brazilian gymnast Rebeca Andrade started to train before becoming the country's most decorated Olympian in history, hundreds of new students dreamed to follow in her footsteps. The 425 spots at the local gymnastics center were filled in fewer than 48 hours. That's a record. Andrade clinched the last gymnastics gold medal at the Paris Olympics on Monday and captivated the minds and hearts of soccer-obsessed Brazil. As our country is often divided by political and societal issues, Pulitzer Prize winner and the New Yorker contributor Eliza Griswold went to see firsthand if these divisions are happening in churches as well. In her new book, Circle of Hope, A Reckoning with Love, Power, and Justice in an American Church, Griswold formed a portrait of an American progressive evangelical church in Philadelphia and sought to see if faith and justice had the power to bring people together. Eliza, thanks so much for joining us. How did you come upon the Circle of Hope Church?
I came upon this church because I was in downtown Philadelphia, and I was with one of the members who was melting AK-47s into garden implements, because in the Bible you beat swords into plowshares, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm going to do this literally.
Wow.
So he was on a street corner, literally like pushing the barrel of an AK into this forge, and I saw a young group of people who I knew, like heavily inked, you know, pierced, wearing well-thrifted chic store clothes, and I was like, this is a church, and I know these young people are worth time getting to know.
As a reporter, I could just picture seeing that scene. You know something more is happening. And so you embed yourself basically from, 2019 to 2023, getting to personally know these folks, the younger generation. And as eventually the younger generation pushes out the older generation. I'm wondering what it was like to watch that kind of generational change inside this organization?
Well, you know, I think that's actually an excellent question. And I think one of the things that I saw was what was happening in so many organizations and institutions around America was happening inside this church as well, a real reckoning. In this case, it was really a moral reckoning over what Jesus meant and how to lead the church forward. And what happened exactly over time was that the younger people were like, hey, we've spent enough time in the streets of Philadelphia trying to help people without really looking at ourselves. And with George Floyd and pandemic, the time has come to look within. And the book is really about the crisis born of that reckoning.
And in 2020, the pandemic and the death of George Floyd, as you say, what happened in the aftermath of that?
A lot of saying, you know, my way is correct, your way is wrong. And what happened when that was sort of pumped up with theology and people's devotion, it became really, really problematic and really heartbreaking, because lots of these guys had left conservative megachurches in rural places in their childhood. They had been conservative evangelicals and kind of followed the ways of Trump before Trump, right? And then what had happened, they's come to Philadelphia and left that behind. And they were now with his chosen family, and they thought they were doing the right thing. And so to begin to fight with his chosen family was really painful.
I do want to get this question in. You write, over the past 25 years, some 40 million Americans have stopped attending church. Scandal over power, money, sex, and abuse have called into question the basic goodness of church leaders and institutions. How was the collapse of the church that you followed different from, say, what other people are viewing in organized religion worldwide?
That is an excellent question. And what I saw with these young people was an enormous amount of devotion and love and energy, and sometimes that energy didn't know where to go. But it wasn't a falling away. It was an ardent, what does Jesus call us to be, and what does that look like? And they gave their whole lives to live that. And ultimately, that began to come into conflict.
I spoke to so many of my friends in the aftermath of the clergy sex abuse scandal who wanted to profess and find a way to have a relationship with Jesus without the hierarchy of the church. They found that a problem. So was that a struggle, too, in how to find a relationship with God, but without the hierarchy?
Phil, that is exactly what the church was founded to be. They believed they were anti-hierarchical. They believed that they had solved all of those problems. Oh, we've left behind racism, we've left behind sexism, because we're an intentional community that's non-hierarchical.
Noble.
Right? And the crisis was, it's not possible to leave the world behind. You have to reckon with what the world brings with you.
Thank you so much for coming, Eliza. We really do appreciate it. And we want to let everybody know that you can purchase Circle of Hope, A Reckoning with Love, Power, and Justice in an American Church wherever books are sold.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. And still to come, I'm talking with the Grand Mother, sharing her love of insects with millions of fans on TikTok.
GMA surprised people across the country, helping find thousands in unclaimed money.
This really is a big check.
Yeah! And this summer, we're at it again.
That's incredible.
Because nothing's better than hearing you say,
"Show me the money!"
on Good Morning America.
Let's go.
The ship is incredible. It feels like living in a science fiction movie.
We just saw what no one has seen before.
Wow, look at that.
Oh my gosh.
Well, dead ahead! Tag on!
We are heading into the unknown.
Hammer, hammer, hammer. It doesn't get any more cutting edge than this.
Betrayal is one of the hardest types of trauma to overcome.
This is her knight in shining armor.
Everything felt right. All of a sudden, I found this hidden folder. I opened it. I don't think I can say it. I'm sorry. It's shocking. My stomach just dropped. He just really didn't think I had it in me to do something. So I did.
Betrayal, A Father's Secret, the all-new season on Hulu.
What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
We are part of an operation.
Is this our Combat Operations Center?
We're approaching the gate. Militants came in from different directions. Nuclear reactor. So you have a couple loaded and ready to go. The house is destroyed, but the flag...
Not a tear in it.
How important it made the USA.
Great work.
Hi, appreciate you.
Thank you.
Ismail? David.
I'm David Muir.
I know who you are.
You
Watch
do?
you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast. ABC News Live, honored with 8 Emmy nominations, more than any other streaming news network. And ABC News Live Prime with Linsey Davis, the first and only streaming show nominated for Best Outstanding Live News Program. This is ABC News Live.
We turn now to our weekly segment, TikTok, where we take a closer look at the story behind the sensation. 2 million followers on TikTok know her as a mother and grandmother, but really when you're talking about Tala Lane, you have to say Grand Mother and Moth Mom. Take a look.
2 years ago, I found this giant moth sitting on my driveway. I had a huge fear of bugs back then, so seeing this giant tarantula with wings scared the hell out of me. Now, I don't know what got into me that day, but when she started crawling toward me, I just decided to let my hand out and let her do her thing. But I had no idea what I was about to get myself into. The next thing I knew, I was raising her babies, tiny little green caterpillars that were growing by the day.
Tala joins us now. Welcome to the show. It's so good to have you here. And that part of your story is really important. You're a lifelong animal lover. Ironically, I guess you were afraid of bugs in the beginning. So why get into butterflies and moths?
So that's a very interesting question. So yeah, as you said, as a child, I was very scared of specifically insects. As much as I loved animals, I could not handle insects, specifically butterflies and moths with giant eyes on their wings. So it was very interesting how I got into this new hobby and passion. It happened during the pandemic, actually. I went outside and I noticed this moth that was sitting on our car. And rather than being freaked out by it, I decided to get some courage and sit next to it and watch it and observe it. And long story short, it ended up crawling toward my hand, and it started laying eggs, and I started learning how to raise butterflies and moths from there, and I started to begin appreciating all the insects that I used to fear.
There are so many beautiful species in your collection, from Chinese moon moth to a Cheeto puff moth. First, I need to know what a Cheeto puff moth is, and then I want to know if you have a favorite.
So the Cheeto puff moth, also known as the pink striped oakworm moth, it's a native moth in my area in Florida. A lot of people have mistaken it because I called it the Cheeto puff moth, but I think it does look like a Cheeto puff. So I personally think that should have been the name. But for my favorite moth, I would say the Madagascan moon moth or comet moth is my favorite. It's like a giant yellow moth with 4 orange eyes on each wing. It's been my absolute favorite.
Hey, did you have that on your face at one point in one of the TikToks? Is that the one you're talking about? That is beautiful.
Yes, yes.
That's very cool.
You.
Yeah, well, you're shedding a big light, 2 million followers. And you know, obviously, people know that butterflies have meaning across culture. I love your earrings. They look like monarchs. You have something to, you have something right close by where you can show us, right? Is it a monarch butterfly that you have?
So I have a Gulf fritillary butterfly. It's a native it's a native Florida butterfly. It looks similar to a monarch. I'm gonna see if I can try and take one out. They're a little bit finicky today because it's a little bright out for them.
Do they like the human interaction?
I think with butterflies, they can be a little more spooked. But one thing I like to do is kind of make like a little nectar juice for them, which is like sugar water. And it kind of draws them to start sipping on it, and then it keeps them a little calm for a little bit.
Oh, wow.
So this is, I don't know if you can see.
Yeah.
This is the underwing of a Gulf fritillary. And let me see if I can turn it around.
Wow, beautiful. And the TikTok is so great. No wonder 2 million people follow you, 43 million likes. It's beautiful stuff, and you're educating people on beautiful species. So thank you so much. Thanks for coming on. We really do appreciate it. And you can check out Tala on TikTok at Tala Loves You Art to explore her world of critters and flutterers. And that's our show for tonight. I'm Phil Lipoff. ABC News Live is here for you all night with the latest news, context, and analysis. You can always find us on Hulu, Roku, Pluto TV, the ABC News app, and of course, abcnews.com. Good night.
It was a regular day for 19-year-old Melissa Witt.
Something terrible had happened to her.
We had several